On the occasion of International Women's Day, ET Legal World of Economic Times is honoured to host an exclusive interview with Ms Smita Priyardarshini, the Executive Legal Counsel at BCG. In a world where women continue to defy stereotypes and shatter glass ceilings, Ms Priyadarshini stands out as a beacon of inspiration in the realm of corporate legal leadership. Ms. Priyadarshini is a seasoned legal leader with over 20 years of legal experience working with a variety of disciplines within the legal ambit, information technology, service, and consulting industry. As we celebrate the achievement and contribution of women across the diverse industries, this special interview celebrates the journey of a seasoned legal professional who has not only navigated the world of legal landscape but also has left a mark as a trailblazer in her field. So, to kickstart this interview, ma'am, could you provide a brief overview of your personal journey and career trajectory within the legal profession, highlighting the key
Sure.
milestones and significant experiences?
Sure. So, presently, firstly, thank you, Kashish, for having me, and thank you for featuring me in this edition. I think, women and women issues are very important to me because I also have two daughters, and I also want them to feel more empowered to achieve their goals as they grow up and they start doing different things in life. When I did my law, and I know this generation, I think 1 out of 3 students you talk to, they are all wanting to do law. But when I did it way back in '99, it was not such a common profession for the females so as to speak, and there were not a lot of support for women pursuing this line of as a career option. So I'm glad to see that at least some stereotypes are being broken, and there's more to come over here. So I have around 22 years plus of experience in the legal domain. Before that, I've done my BA honors history from Miranda House. I got a gold medal because I topped the university. Then I did my MA in history from Stephens. Then I've done my law in '99. I also have a degree in education. I've taught in the university, and I also have done my executive MBA after having joining the corporate field, just to keep enhancing my knowledge. My biodata, I started with the law firm. Then I moved to an in-house company called Pero Systems. I was leading the legal department for Asia Pacific. I was on the board of directors for Pero Systems. When I was with Pero Systems, wherever I could make a difference, like I said, I always did feel that one should grow by growing others. So I tried to inculcate that into my working style. So I was the chairperson of Sexual Harassment Redressal Committee. So that gave me a different kind of exposure to various nuances impacting women. I also have worked with HR to sponsor initiatives like, work-life balance, initiatives aimed at getting ladies who have gone on maternity break and they're finding it difficult to come back to corporate life full time. So I was involved in that. So started with Luthra, moved to Pero Systems. Then I was with Dell Computers for around 12 years. I was the Asia Pacific Regional Counsel for several regional portfolios, have always managed extensive teams spread across various locations, diverse team. So the cultural nuances has also been very important in my role, like when you're working with teams which are not only based in one geography. And now very happy with BCG, 3 years with BCG. And over here, like, of course, I'm the lead lawyer for India, and I have a team that supports various matters, commercial matters for BCG. So that, in a sense, is my legal and professional journey. On the personal front, I've been married for 25 years now. I have two daughters, 24 and 17. My husband is a police officer, Jammu and Kashmir cadre. So for long stretches in our married life, like he's been posted to the frontier while I have been based out of Delhi, and I have raised my both daughters in here in Delhi, and they are doing well. So I can completely understand why and how it is difficult for women who are very talented, just not, they don't have a level playing field to the extent they are benchmarked against their male peers, because some of the responsibilities that come on women are a part, and in addition to just excelling in the professional workspace, and that is something that we have to balance. So yeah, that was me in a nutshell.
And that it's really inspiring to know your story, ma'am. And it's amazing how you've come across all the challenges, not in only in your personal life, but also on the professional background. But who would you say was your key, like the key person who influenced you or inspired you to do this?
Yeah, so I have two key persons in my life. Of course, my parents, my father and mother. My father was like the one who is the most deserving, gets the most benefits, and I come up from a family of two brothers and myself, and I always felt that I was more indulged, not because I was a female, but he just felt that I put in more effort, I was more eager to shine, like, and he felt that that is the distinguishing criteria. So actually he gave me a lot of leeway doing whatever I wanted, and doing well in education, coming to stay in a boarding school and all that. So that was my dad. My mom is not very highly educated, but she always nurtured that dream that my daughter should get an opportunity to study as much as she wants to. So we have a time when people say you've done your 12th, now you should be doing a professional course, right? I took time to figure out what I wanted. I did my BA, then there was talk of me giving civil services, then I did my MA, and there was talk of me being a lecturer. Then I started doing law, then I did teaching, and then I did my MBA. So I would say she allowed me the flexibility to figure out what I wanted in life, because the comfort I got is that there's nothing to be achieved by a particular deadline. She wanted me to be very happy at the field that I've chosen, so that the work also becomes rewarding for me, and it is not something which I have to do. It's like a tedious work. So that support when you're trying to figure out your path, and that may come to some in 1 year, it took me a couple of years for that path to come to me. I think that would be my mother. And I was just telling my family the other day. So they say that behind every successful man there's a woman. In my case,
Mm.
there are three men who are there who are very pivotal to my success. My brothers, definitely, they always stood by me, they always supported me in whatever I did. And post my marriage, my husband, because he was also always very supportive. Like when you're married and you want to pursue a career, so you have to have the support of your significant other to do that. Otherwise, generally, that's
Absolutely.
not the norm. So I would say, yeah, couple of all my close family, and of course my friends.
So, like you mentioned that your husband is not around much.
Yeah.
So, my next question is around that. Like, how do you manage that work life and that personal life relationship? How do you manage the balance between them? Like, you took care of your daughters
Yes.
mostly by yourself.
So I like being very honest, like for me, it is important for me to develop myself, to invest in myself. So I frankly don't have a guilt complex at various points in my life. Sometimes career has taken a priority, sometimes family has taken a priority. When I had my second daughter, I did quit my job, and I went and I stayed with my husband. Jammu was a small town. I was doing very well in Delhi, but I felt that's the time my elder daughter, could spend with her dad. And because I'm not somebody who's happy sitting at home, I started doing, I got a degree in education. I started teaching in college. So for me, it's important to be like sharpening your skill set. It doesn't need to be one career trajectory where you cannot compromise. And that is a decision that you take at various points in time. Second, I say that, please don't have a guilt complex. Please don't try to be a superwoman. Giving you examples, sometimes I have free time. I don't teach my children. I have teachers who come and teach them. I watch my Netflix. That is how I unwind. So I don't try to do everything myself. I'm very grateful to have cultivated a network of people at my place. Sometimes it was my mother-in-law, sometimes it's my mother, sometimes I have support staff. Now of course the girls are grown up, and now it's so nice to see and hear from them that they never gave me guilt for not prioritizing certain things. Not everything of your child or your family needs to be a priority. You need to be a priority, for yourself as well, whether it is to relax or just to read something or unwind, or maybe just go for an exercise as well. So that is how I have done it. And I do know that balance is, people with balance would find it very difficult to reach the top, let me say. So you can't do it on a daily basis. Sometimes the work has to take a priority, and sometimes the family has to take a priority. And you have to be very clear in your mind which is happening when. So, for example, if there's an important client negotiation, I can take a call late in night. The anniversary does not matter to me so much, and I think people around me respect that. But when it is not that important, like my daughter is having a board exams, so I go to drop her to school, I go to pick pick her up from school. And I'm very grateful to my organization, which actually allows this kind of flexibility, because it is not so much important to my daughter, but it is important to me as well. So I would say just balance it out and just understand that you can't have your cake and eat it too. There are things that you'll have to learn to be not okay with doing, and then you should make the right call as per yourself, and then be happy with that decision and not second guess yourself.
As someone who struggles with prioritizing, I think I'm learning a lot from you. But you mentioned that you watch Netflix to unwind. So, do you have any preferred series on
Uh,
any OTT?
Yes. So when you talk about preferred series, like I will not talk about Suits. I think Suits everybody loves. Harvey Specter.
Well,
Yeah. So I really liked also the Lincoln Lawyer, the one that I saw. I started watching, and there's a season two that has also come. So the character of Mickey Haller, the way he's quite the stresses he faces in the personal life, and how he tries to do right by the client without bending the rules. That was interesting for me. I mean, no lessons learned there. It is just a pastime. The second one was also, I would say, How to Get Away with Murder, because
mm,
that's the show where the law students and the criminal defense professor, they become involved in that murder plot. So the Annalise Keating, that the charismatic and brilliant, and the defense attorney and law professor, it explores the intricacies of how you build a defense in high stake cases, the preparation involved in teaching aspiring lawyers, and often blurred lines between legal advocacy and moral compromise. So I would say these two would be something which I really enjoyed.
that's amazing. I watched one of them, and I was really into it, and it was a nice show. But I mean, if I notice such some key things in these series is they're majorly male dominated. These industries are majorly male dominated. So, what are your struggles and what are your challenges as a female leader in these industries where mostly the male dominate the industry?
Right. So I would say that, yeah, there are many, and though it's become much better. So navigating the path to leadership in the for women in the legal profession, it's been a traditionally male-dominated industry, I would say. So one of the major challenges, I would say, is to overcome the stereotypes and biases that sometimes question the competence, leadership ability. So I mean, and this is not legal profession, but somebody said that one of my friends was saying that she was offered an opportunity to move to another location, and she said, "Yes, I would like to." And the person who had asked the question said, "No, but you should check with your significant other." And then she was just saying that, if the situation is reversed, who's going to come? I mean, I don't think the same thing would be applicable. So these things are definitely there. So I would say that again, it's difficult to network. It's difficult to build a network where you automatically have a seat at the table, because a lot of networking and bonding happens around work you do outside your strictly outside your profession, when you meet for networking dinners and all, where males kind of, they subconsciously tend to gather together, and females are generally there for certain cliche area, like HR is where you'll generally see a female person. So it's difficult to break through. I think ultimately you just have to get them to accept the value add that you're bringing, and irrespective of whichever gender you're a part of. And it takes time. I think one should not try to push the issue. Slowly, steadily, as they see that, and never try to be somebody that you're not. If you're not very comfortable doing something, don't do something just to kind of get into the male bonding area, I would say. But just be authentic and true to yourself, and ultimately, if they see the value add you're bringing to the table, slowly and steadily, I guess they would kind of accept you, and they will respect you. I guess that would be my 2 cents on this. And also,
So,
sorry, mentors. You should definitely have mentors within the organization, outside the organization. And there are organizations, most organizations, that offer these, and they can be male or they can be female, but that kind of also is a big way of breaking through and getting a seat at the table.
that's amazing. Is there any personal incident that you'd like to share, if you're comfortable, obviously, that you faced personally in your industry that was, uh, you'd like make you think ki if uh, if I was if I was male, this wouldn't have been happening to me. Is there anything that like that happened to you?
See, so I'm in corporate, Kashish, and frankly, I have never faced anything like this. So sometimes I find it difficult to relate. I've heard stories like the one that I related to you, narrated to you, that when somebody is offered a position, they say you check with somebody else. That doesn't happen. For me, it hasn't happened. I've always worked in very good organization, very open, very flexible. People have been very respectful. So I would not say no. I mean, there were instances where when I was initially being interviewed, I can say that. And I'm not talking about the organizations where I worked with, but HR headhunters used to ask me questions. Are you married? Do you have children? When I used to tell them that, yeah, my husband is not posted here, they used to say, oh, but then if they hire you and you quit just to go and live with him. When I had one child, somebody asked me, are you planning on having more children? So I guess those were very personal questions, which I guess, the other party will not get.
But not related.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but
But
not
nowadays,
related to it.
the
Yeah.
organizations are very clear, no personal questions, nothing like that. But yes, I don't even remember them because they were like so far back off. Yeah, but they were there. Or maybe I don't remember them because I think, the gender stereotyping does happen. Recruitment people do ask these questions and they look at it from stability perspective. I've heard of the fact that people standardly ask this question in their interviews, that you plan to get married, will you relocate, are you planning to have babies? So all that questions, a few of them have also happened to me, but nothing beyond a point. Fact that I mean, I've been in the profession. My husband is a cop. A lot of it may have things to do with it. I'm quite well networked, but yeah, nothing personal. But the questions have happened outside the present organizations I'm working with.
So apart from gender stereotyping, what there is also an issue of gender inclusivity. Statistically, it indicates that only 15% of practicing lawyers in India courts are women. So what are your thoughts about that?
So things are changing, I would say, and especially there's a marked difference that I see between practicing lawyers vis-a-vis the lawyers in the corporate sector. Things within corporates have changed. In my present organization, I lead a team which is totally females. I have all females in my team, not by choice, it just happened. Our general counsel is again the only female general counsel that we have, I guess, like she is the overall global general counsel, she's a female again. But yes, in litigation, you do see, like you mentioned, only 15%. That is the criteria that I saw, that only 15% are there. But it's not only India, no, legal profession traditionally, much like its counterparts around the world, has been male dominated because is known for its long hours and demanding nature. And then, that's the reason why not a natural choice for females or ladies, because they are supposed to, there are societal expectations around family and caregiving responsibilities. But I would say that things have changed. Like when you look at our Supreme Court, the roster includes three women, and there are many prominent senior female advocates as well. So we are seeing the appointment of women to high-ranking judicial positions. The law schools that you see. They would be churning out women in large number, all those. So I guess these things are coming up, and there are consciously we are promoting diversity hiring and diversity inclusion. There's this concept of where you have to make sure that when you're interviewing for a position, you need to make sure that at least a certain percentage of female candidates are interviewed for that. So all those is happening, but I would say there's a marked shift from where we were earlier to where we are now. And the next 2 3 years, given the number of lawyers we are going to have in the market, there is no option but for this mindset to change. I guess that's what I would say.
Yes. So, like you said, you work in a good company where you don't face such things. So, what measures do you feel that your company has taken, or what measures do you feel that other companies should take so that there is more, female lawyers, upcoming lawyers, so there is more gender inclusivity?
Right. So this would require an approach that kind of addresses both structural barriers and cultural biases within the organization. I mean, you can put in place policies, Kashish, but to the extent the mindset is not conducive, the policies will remain on paper. So, of course, there has to be robust anti-discrimination and anti-harassment policies, as well as we need to work consciously towards addressing the gender pay gap. The gender pay gap is important to be addressed. The criteria for promotion, advancement of career should be articulated clearly and applied equitably, I would say. There should be transparency in promotion and evaluation process to eliminate any kind of biases and to ensure that decisions are made on merit and performance rather than gender or any other unrelated factors. And of course, regular check-ins to see how the percentage of women are going up, at least in some of the important roles would be important. Based on my personal experience, a lot of women tend to take a break from work because they need to devote time when they are in the family way, or when they want to take more leaves or flexible work life options when the child is small. In some of my previous organization, there was a particular initiative that encouraged women who have gone on childcare leave to come back to work, by giving them option of flexible working. It could be working couple of hours in a week or getting to do them a couple of hours in a day. So those kind of initiatives have actually worked. And I would say one of the good things coming after COVID, and I know it sounds very strange to say it, is that organization in the past were just not open to flexible work life. And COVID did not give them a choice, and they just had to work around it. And now, because it has become a success, I think it's something which is really working in favor of women, because now they can take advantage of this to balance their work life and deliver on the work front. So I guess that's the flexible work for women, I think, is one of the most important initiatives. And if that should keep getting promoted, not for all reasons, like I say, we should be treated ably, but not differently, to the extent that we want to be highlighted that this is being given to us because we are a woman. No, we don't want that. We are at an equal level. We just want to make sure that some things which are naturally our primary responsibility, which are not falling within the domain of the male professional, so as to speak, for that maybe we need to be given some extra care. And it's all coming from the law, Kashish. Like, like organization working late, there are regulations. You can't keep female employees in office beyond a certain time. You have to give them an office cab, or there has to be somebody. So that is female safety, because as the statistics says, the crime against women is more. Women are naturally the ones who would be having, they are the caregivers. They have to take care of the family. So for that particular instance, please give them enough legislation, regulations, or benefits, so that they are at an even playing field with their male counterparts. We are not asking for anything beyond that. The rest, whatever you want to test us on the professional front, you can absolutely. It should all be like a open playing field, because we don't want to feel that we are doing well because we are being treated like special or different kind of a privilege. That should not be the case.
That's really nice. Really shows that you've earned your place where you are. So to wrap up this interview, for my last question I have is that, as a respected figure and as a role model in the legal profession, what words of encouragement do you have for the younger generation, especially of women that is coming up to take their place in this industry? So what words of wisdom would you like to pass on to them?
Yeah, so firstly, you have to find out, like, what works for you, like what gives you happiness and satisfaction. And like I said, that there cannot be one size that fits all. I've seen, because I've recruited people and I've led big teams, I've seen that our sense of motivation and inspiration are very different. Some people are motivated by recognition, some people are motivated by remuneration, some people are motivated by the scope of the job. So you have to be very clear what is your reason or motivation for picking up this profession, because don't pick up the profession based on one particular criteria, and tomorrow you think you're not getting XYZ, because it's not easy to get everything. You may get others, but you have to see that whatever line you're picking, if it is going to the courts, it may not be as easy as doing corporate law and sitting in an AC cabin. So that is something you have to compromise on. So be clear on what are your expectations from the role, and then just be okay to do the sacrifices that that particular line may require you to do. Don't get disheartened, don't get disheartened. It's a long journey. I mean, it does not happen in a day. Having said that, if the job you're doing does not make you happy, I mean, on a daily basis, then you would know it in your heart. Then you are just not in the right profession. And right profession, I don't mean legal profession. I mean to say whether you want to do corporate or litigation law. So your calling for the profession, you have to be honest and authentic about. And then you should be okay with making some compromises. The family time may need to be compromised when you're struggling. I remember when we started, Saturdays was working for us, Sundays also we were in office. So it was almost a 7 day a week. So I really think a lot of things have changed right now. And we were okay with it even then. But now I hear of, children saying 7:30, right? My boss is calling. I mean, that means the boss is also working. So have that integrity also to see that the boss is calling not to do something or to trouble you. If there's a client work that needs to be done, if it is critical, and if you want to rise to the top level, you have to be okay with making that sacrifice, while in the long term it may balance itself. Secondly, Rome was not built in a day. It takes a village to raise a child. Please look at mentors. Please go to networking events. Create your mentors who can guide you, offer you advice, and also keep yourself abreast with the legal landscape. Because the days when we started, it was litigation, or and then corporate came in. Now there are so many options. There's legal process outsourcing, there's AI coming in legal domain. So if somebody who has a knack for AI, I would say do law, of course, but do something with AI as well, so that the companies who are looking at changing the face of their legal services, you can be a front runner on that. So I guess these would be a few of my tips. The rest, I think today's generation is very capable of deciding for themselves.
This has been really great, ma'am. Really knowledgeable. I'm sure this interview will encourage and inspire a lot of female upcoming lawyers. So I think that is it for today. Do you have any other things to add?
No, I mean, nothing. Thank you. I know I was busy, but I really wanted to take out the time to speak with you because, firstly, thank you for reaching out to me. And like I said, I really think this topic is very important. We think about it once a year. I guess that's something which is always very close to my heart. So when you reached out to me, I just felt that I should be talking on this. I will send you the detailed write-up as well. You can pick and choose from either one of this, whatever works for you. But thank you for the opportunity, and I
Sure,
look
ma'am.
forward to working with you more, Kashish, and all the best in your own career ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really an honor to have you, to know you.
Thanks. Thanks, Kashish. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.